in Riyadh. Richard Hoyles with the Saudi way for the Saudi Cup. A little bit slow away, and early on it is Walk of Stars who moves forward. Romantic Warrior jumped well. Lead Forever Young on the outside, disputing it with Walk of Stars. Right round the outside, Romantic Warrior will be 5 wide into the turn. And it's Romantic Warrior who finds most initially from Forever Young in second place. The two of them are clear. Two of the great racehorses in the world. And at the moment, Romantic Warrior holds sway. His rider looks across. Forever Young is trying to close and he's beginning to do so. Romantic Warrior from the outside. Forever Young has got to within 3 parts of a length. Romantic Warrior, Forever Young, a race for the ages, and Forever Young rounds off a terrific night. But Japan runs down Romantic Warrior and breaks Hong Kong hearts.
A Saudi Cup of a lifetime, and for everyone who loves Hong Kong racing, their hearts were broken when Romantic Warrior went so close to winning the Saudi Cup. Hello, welcome to the Triple Trio, our weekly look at all things Hong Kong racing and internationally as well. Best form analyst of the business is that guy, Clint Hutchison, and the other guys in the Hall of Fame. That's how good of a jockey Shane Dye was. Hutch, great scenes and an incredible race.
Epic race, wasn't it? It really was billed as that. Doesn't always deliver, but it did in spades in this situation. And a great call from Richard Hoyles. And yeah, like you said, so close yet so far for Romantic Warrior. But he probably gained more admirers in defeat post that race with his first crack at the dirt. I thought it was an unbelievable race.
Golden Boy, welcome to you. And you're over in New Zealand about to go to a very important family member's wedding. So have a great day, mate. What were your thoughts on the Saudi Cup?
I want to know what Clint thinks first. What were your thoughts, Clint, before I address
In what particular area are you talking?
Well, should it have won? What did you think of the ride?
I think whenever you're looking at a race and you're not beaten by a big margin, Shane, you always, as a rider or any professional, would go back and say, well, what could I have done different? He was following Forever Young. I was surprised at the time when I watched it. I didn't watch it live, but I watched it when he made this move. But it was a bold move. And, you know, it nearly paid off. He wasn't beaten a big margin. In retrospect, everything's always 2020. Should he have followed the favourite? Should he have followed Forever Young through? Possibly. You'd look at that again and say, well, maybe he could have beaten him. So they drew well clear of the rest. So, no, I didn't mind the move, but it just didn't pay off for J-Mac on this occasion.
The only thing that I will balance that up with and add to what you're saying, Hutch, is we don't know what it's like to ride in a dirt race. Well, us two don't. You will tell us, Shane, in a dirt race in regards to kickback. So he's behind Forever Young getting kickback and gets away from the kickback to be able to, which is always the recipe for success in dirt racing. That was for me, for my untrained eye. What about your trained eye? What did you think?
If I had done that, how would the press been reacted to instead of James McDonald?
Well, you were the whipping boy, so judging by the way they reacted to Viandacross, I reckon they would have hung you.
Hammered me. Of course they would have. There's no risk. Okay, so there's a few things to look at over the ride. One is down the back, if you had a look at it, there's no kickback. So he's travelled well. Now, at the half mile, they cross him and he's getting kickback. I can't tell you what it was like. I'm not on the horse. James can. But his reaction was, I would believe, that he wasn't travelling as well as he thought with the kickback coming back. So he moved out 5 wide, and I heard people criticising him for going 5 wide. I've got no criticism of him going 5 wide if he thought the horse hadn't handled the kickback.
Yeah.
What I have got criticism of going on a 600. You can't go at the 600 on that dirt like that. He cut him loose too soon, right? Now, James is a superstar. There's no doubt about that. He's the best rider in Australia by far. You only got to watch Karen McAvoy ride his horses on 2 lengths the last 2 weeks and see the big difference between a good whatever jockey and a superstar. It's a huge difference. I said on the show 3 or 4 weeks ago, James has gone to another level the last 12 months, which he has, because he used to make 2 mistakes in races. One was he wouldn't ride the fence, and 2 was he would make a run from the 600 to the 400 all the time in major races, and horses would be week late. And the last 18 months, he's really addressed that, and he's been riding sensational. But the World Cup is the biggest event, and he reverted back to how he used to ride, I believe. and he cut it loose too soon at the 600. Going wide, that's not a problem on the dirt,
Right, okay.
because you're out of the kickback, okay? But cutting a horse like that loose at the 600, so my line of thinking is you got one horse to beat. I'm following that horse. But I can understand why James got away if he said he wasn't handling it, and I'm not criticising him for that. But you can't cut a horse like that loose at the 600. That would be my criticism. And I would believe if James had that ride again, even though he won't say this, that horse would always win. Because he had realised what happened and he cut him loose too soon.
Yeah, I think that's
and
fair.
He would win every time.
That's a fair assessment. I think, Shane, there's a long straight there, and it's
great vision.
It's the superb vision, wasn't it, that we got on this night? So yeah, if they lined up against each other, you'd be happy to. It'd be a great race anyway, wouldn't it? But not sure if we'll see it or not, whether they'll clash again. But like I said, when you're not beating a big margin, you always go back, I'd imagine, and try and work out what you could have done a bit differently. So certainly food for thought.
Pushing the button a bit soon.
Yeah.
Fourth ride as always, Golden Boy. Absolutely love it. Jimmy Orman has hit the board. Wasn't this fantastic for a young man who we spoke to before he arrived? And Shane spoke about how important it was to hit the board early. Well, he's done it.
Good on him. What a great performance from Jimmy. This horse was 25-1 in the market. Wasn't really a chance on form, and you want to hit the board running, as Shane has mentioned in the past. And look, I think he did a good job. He settled back off the speed. He was going to go forward, but he was there to pounce. And you do need to get on the board, Shane, and that's certainly what he did.
Yeah, this was a very good ride, because at the 700 he could have gone round them wider, but he elected not to, and that's actually what won in the race. He come back in and waited till they straightened up. So fantastic result for him, because it's not easy. And he's not going to get good rides. So you've got to ride winners on bad horses or horses that aren't fancied. And he did it. So congratulations. Great start.
February, HUTCHI'S Honkers. Let's look back at the month that was. And I see green, my friend.
Yeah, we had a good month. We gave a little bit back on Wednesday, unfortunately, but the best lob, but not much else did. But overall, it was a good month. Yeah, we had a sort of picked up the momentum a little bit in January, and hopefully we can continue that through. I've got to say, the tracks have been racing really well, and that certainly helps. I think it's the right time of year. We don't have the bad weather. The tracks are in good condition, and I think that really helps overall.
Yeah, a lot of highlights to reflect on.
Sky Jewelry, I think, has got a great chance, and in the third event, I think we can take a single Quinella in that race as well.
Sky Jewelry's the one to come after him from Harold Wynn. South Star headed off by Sky Jewelry, and the favourite will be Too Good.
Pride. He's a horse that's been in very good form as well.
He's never far away, is he? He's pretty consistent. He's had the one win. He ran well again the other day behind a good horse.
It's Janu Pride still in front of Armour War, Eagle and Victory Sky. Still Janu Pride. They won't get him. Janu Pride.
But I'm saying have something each way, Jimmy Star. He was electric. Last preparation, course and distance.
I'm going with Clint.
Jimmy Star.
Jimmy Star. Yeah, Jimmy Star.
I loved his acceleration, Jimmy Star. What he's got is this elite turn of foot.
And she's bulletproof, and Jimmy Star are coming hard. She's bulletproof, and Jimmy over the top has dropped from the sky to win.
Yeah, just some of the winners of a big weekend. And we've got a huge show coming up. All the usual features. We've got the Idol, future winners, a stack of races to analyse from Sha Tin. But this one I'm very excited about. Sits there with James McDonald as the best jockey in the world, and Ryan Moore will be our very special guest. But first, let's find some winners. Sha Tin on Sunday. Hong Kong Classic Cup Day on Sunday, an absolute beauty as we lead up towards the Derby. So that's going to be fantastic coming up shortly. But first, race number 8. Who do you like, my friend?
Very competitive meeting, but I like it. Dancing Code, Ryan's got a very good chance on this horse. Has been racing well. I think the key is the good barrier. He's drawn nicely. Plenty of speed in the race. Young Champion will park off it. He's a bit hit and miss. Oh. He's capable, but I don't know. He's one that can win without me.
Keeps teasing me.
Yeah, Lucy in the Sky. And Healthy Happy will roll forward and run a bit of a race, of course. Now, Dancing Code saved all the ground here, settled well back in the red and black colours. And Choo Chow Spirit was also very good. Shane, I think the race sets up well for both of these. ways, but the difference is Choo-Chow will probably go back, and I think Dancing Code can actually map a little bit closer and get his opportunity to win. There's Young Champion out wide as well.
Yeah, so do I. This Young Champion's been a funny horse because some days he looks really good and the next day he just disappoints. He didn't finish this race off, Young Champion. There's not much between them. It's not an easy race, but I think Dancing Code, I'm with you, Clint. I've got him on top. What have I got here? I had Dancing Code, Young Champion, Choo-Chow Spirit, who's racing well, and Lucy in the Sky.
So you see it similarly. So talking about Lucy in the Sky, its last start performance here, where it runs fourth with Huey Bowman on.
Yeah, what was interesting about this race from a betting point of view was that Glory Elite, of course, and Lucy in the Sky had come out of that classic mile. The market was really strong on them. They were well backed. It may have been a map thing as well. They were both settling handy. And look, I think Lucy in the Sky ran well. I personally think he's a 1,200 metre horse more than a 14, even though he's won over 14. But he'll get a good run. He won't be too far away. Now, here's Ramadan. Here's the interesting one, of course. So he was due to run. He's got Group 1 form from overseas. They've taken their time. They've had some issues. I thought the trial was pleasing enough. But if you thought he'd run anything like his overseas form, Shane, he'd probably blow them away. But it hasn't been a straightforward prep. We heard from Mark Newnham. What did you make of his trial?
Yeah, well, he didn't do much in the international mile. His first two trials were just easy. That was his third and last trial, and he went a lot better. He did trial all right. He's definitely got the rating and the ability to win, but I would like to watch him and see what he does. But his trial wasn't bad.
It was interesting when we spoke to Mark Newnham only a couple of weeks ago. He was also basically, like you two, a little confused as to where he was and at what level he could get to. But
it sounded like the legs adapting to the Hong Kong environment, the firmer tracks. Maybe that's been he's been trying to run against the clock a little bit, I think. So I'd be watching him in the short term.
Let's move to race number 10 here to find a winner.
Yeah, really interesting. I mentioned about some of the form coming out of the Classic Cup, and I think the feedback from Christophe Soumillon with Fast Network would have been he doesn't stay, so he'll be out of the Derby picture. They've dropped him back to 1,200 metres. And the blinkers go back on. His trial was excellent. Glory Elite will go forward, ensure a good speed. Master of My Universal set back. I've got him rated at just under a $6 chance, maybe shorten him in a bit. I think Call Me Glorious can run a bit of a race as well. The first replay we'll take a look at. This is Fast Network, Shane. He got a good run in the race. Christophe presented him here, and for me, that last 100, he was brave, but he just didn't get the trip. So they've sort of changed paths now and dropped him back in trip.
Well, he's been racing really well, hasn't he? You know, his last two runs have been over a mile, and he's performed really well. But if we go back to his other form, he's raced well all season. 1,200 metres suits him. Got in a bit of an awkward gait for 135 pounds drawn on the outside. He'll probably squat in midfield, Clint, I would say. I think the other horse, Master of My Universe, you can forget his last run over 1,400 from a wide gate when he went back and pulled. He's going to be a lot closer here. He'll be midfield, gate 5, Ryan Moore. I think he gets his chance to go better here, Clint.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, a couple of other replays, Righteous Arian and also...
Righteous Arian, he was good here. The pace really suited those closer to the front end of the field, and I think this is a harder race for him. So that's the tricky part. But he is honest, he's consistent, he's part of the pace. It's a tricky barrier for him too. I don't know where he slots in. He got a bit of cover for about 200 metres on this day, but I think this is one of those races, bit of a clump finish, didn't rate anything super special. That'd be the concern. And here is Master of My Universe. I agree with what Shane said. He pulled, he over-raced from a wide gate last time. He resented it. He never travelled, so he wasn't going to finish off. John Size has given him a trial, tick over trial since, but Ryan Moore in a gate. He'll get a smother quickly there, Shane, and you think he'll be closer in the run?
I think he'll be midfield.
Yeah.
Like, if you forget his last run, he won 2, but he got back a little bit, but he had wide gates, if you remember, from his 2 wins over 1,200. Tomorrow from gate 5, and there is pace in the race, like Manoof will go forward, Wonder Star goes, what else? Call Me Glorious, although he's coming back, he can go. Glory Elite will probably lead from gate 4, so there's good pace. Yep. So if he can be running 6th or 7th, he'll have his chance to win, which he didn't have a chance to win last time where he was. I've got Master of My Universe, the 5 from Fast Network, the 1 from the 11, Manoof, who I thought was a little bit disappointing last start, and the 2 Glory Elite. So they've all got chances.
Yeah, okay, so Master of My Universe ahead of Fast Network, and HUTCHI'S with Fast Network. Well, the road to the Hong Kong Derby, it's starting to get serious, Hutch. The
Yes.
Hong Kong Classic Cup, 1,800 metres for these 4-year-olds. It is going to be elite.
It is the main lead up to the Hong Kong Derby. I've got the favourite at $6.50 here, Packing
Wow.
Angel. This is open. My wish. I don't have much between any of these, as we've seen in a lot of my ratings in the past. Noisy Boys, I feel, is being a little underrated by the market. His recent trial was good. Packing Hermod, I've got him in the mix as well. I think Johannes Brahms is also similarly priced. I've got a bunch of horses between sort of $6 and $14 in the market. But the good thing with this race, my wish can go forward. He makes his own luck. The 1,800 I don't think will be a problem. I think 1,800 could be a problem, Shane, for Devano. Mickley had excuses here, being bumped around. Ruby Lot probably maps a bit better. And Packing Hermod seemed to have his chance, but I think he's in the mix. So it's a strange race with a lot of chances.
Clint, there's only one horse that can't place in the race, and that's the 12, Mondial.
Yeah,
The other 13 horses can all place. That's how open it is. You can make a case for every horse in the race. It's quite incredible, and it's very even. I can have 5 picks, and I'm not going to get it right. If this was the Derby, my tips are totally different.
Yeah.
Whereas most years, whatever you tip here is what you're tipping in the Derby, Clint, isn't it?
Very true. And I think it's a good point, a salient point that you make, Shane, and a lot of it will get down to how they're on. It's hard to knock my wish. I think he'll probably be the favourite in Hong Kong. I think he will be, given his overall form. But I like Packing Angel. The query for Packing Angel, from my perspective, is he's going from 14 to 1,800, but he relaxes in the run. He's got a series of wins on the board. He's got a good turn of foot. Now, Joe can park him right in behind Shane. I think he gets a lovely run in this race. I was delighted when he drew gate 1 because he was a sort of a Derby play for us a little while back. I think he's the horse.
I really do too. I've got him on top from the gate. He's going to get a beautiful run, and he quickens like a good horse, and he's bred to stay, Clint, being by shocking.
Yeah.
This is a different type of form race. This is a staying form race where every other horse is more or less sprinting. Noisy Boy, he's done nothing wrong. He's been impressive. Stunning Peach has had a run since then and gone very similar. He still needs to improve, but he could Stunning Peach. These two horses are kind of been forgotten at present because they're looking for the Derby, but you know, either one of those could win this race, Clint.
Stunning Peach doesn't have that turn of foot, but he's dour. He'll get the trip. Mickley was a little bit back there. I tell you what, Noisy Boy's sort of flown right under the radar. His trial was fantastic. I just looked at the overall ratings he's put. He's not a million miles away. In fact, he's right at the top of the, right where he needs to be, and we know he stays. So it's a really interesting race.
And right at the bottom, Huey Bowman's riding Sky Trust. If we apply the G1 Gold Mine analysis here, I mean, buy So You Think out of an Exceed and Excel mare.
Yeah, interesting cross, isn't it? And this would suggest that the mile's the absolute sweet spot. I think, but there is those smaller bubbles when you get up to 2,000 metres against his own generation. I think he looks like he's probably taken after Dad more than Mum in this respect. The thing I like about Sky Trust, Shane, and he's another one that we haven't mentioned who's got a chance. He can roll forward. He's going to be right up there as well. Huey Bowman's going to land there cheaply from the gate, probably get the race run on his terms. And, he doesn't have the turn of foot of a few of the others, but he's going to give himself a chance with his run style.
100%. He's done nothing wrong. Another horse we keep mentioning. He's going to get a great run from gate 2. He can be running 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th, relaxed, hopefully. And he's got a great chance. The way he raced the other day, he's going to run the 1,800. But like I keep saying, I can make a case for most of these.
Okay, so you had to. We pushed you to give us a top 4 in order. We won't nail you to it because we know you shop around for value, etc. And what horses overs. Here are your numbers.
I've got Packing Angel on top. He's by shocking. He's going to run the 1,800. He's just bred to. I know he hasn't raced past 1,400 from Noisy Boy, who's done nothing wrong. And his trial, as Clint said, was very good. I'm going to throw Johannes Brahms. He seems to be racing well. I know he had an off day 2 starts ago, but he didn't get the right run. And the only reason he's there is because he's got gate 4. He's going to be locked up running midfield on the fence or one off. And the other horse, was Packing Herman. And I've left my wish out, but, you know, if he gets the right run on pace, he could.
Shane, you've also left out Mickley, who you said you want to be on from a Derby point of view.
Yeah, well, if I've got to pick a Derby horse now, I'm picking Mickley. Simple as that. He'll get back. He might race a little bit closer with Ryan on, and he'll run on. And I'm not saying he can't win, but I'd imagine he'd run 4th or 5th.
Right.
But his race, if he's going to win one, will be the Derby. That's his race if he wins one. And he'll be pepped for that race. That's how I look at it.
Okay, we move to race number 9 here, 2,000 metre, Class 3. And Hutch, where do we go?
Well, it does have some Derby ramifications, this race as well, because Definitive is one that can run there. Pray for Mirror, 4-year-old. Talent's Ambition, another 4-year-old. Now, with Talent's Ambition, they need to probably run in the money because he's got his rating in Hong Kong through winning on the dirt. So they'll need to see the Hong Kong handicappers, off his current rating, him run well against some others. There'll be good speed in this race because Pray for Mirror's in it. I've ended up on Sharp and Bright because he's been able to take a position this year and perform quite well. But there's certainly a couple here that could figure. You can see outride their Maduri Giant staying on well. I think it's a tricky gate from him, from his point of view. But it's not all that easy a race also to assess. I mean, here's a look at Sharp and Bright. Shane, he'll stay. He'll get a good run in the race. He'll be parked behind, I think, a pretty good leader in Pray for Mir. So I think he gets an opportunity as an older horse to probably bang another win.
He does. He's going to get a good run, but at the 500 metres, you won't want to be on him, Clint. He'll be gone. But one thing is, he's done it all season. He keeps coming. He loves the 2,000 to 2,200. He gets his chance with 122 pounds to win.
Yeah, so Sharp and Bright, Inside Barrier, Karis Teaton. As we look at the field here now, Family Jewel has been scratched.
Yeah, he was actually going to be on top for me, Family Jewel as well, from the barrier, and it's a bit of a shame. So I'd imagine they've nearly run out of time with him now. Definitive's very interesting. We're going to talk to Ryan shortly, but that's a horse that I was surprised they handed up to Soleil Fighter last start. He was one pace. He fought back and beat Soleil Fighter, who we'll mention a bit later in the program. But I think with that pace in the race, I know he's drawn wide, but if Ryan decides to go forward, he's a kind of horse that just keeps fighting on, and I think he could run a bit of a race. He's also interesting from the Dave Eustace yard.
Yeah, okay, one to keep an eye on. Shane, who do you like?
I've got Maduri Giant on top. His runs have been very good, the whole 3 of them. If you like Family Jewel in the race, on the run last start, this horse was never going to be far away from him in the race. They run very similar. I've got him on top. I think the 2,000 will suit him, and he's been looking for it. The only thing I will say, whatever he does this start, he will improve. From, of course, Sharp and Bright. And I'm putting Naval Force in, who hasn't been going bad. He hasn't, I think he's had, 3 unplaced runs or something?
Yep.
Let me see. 3.
Yeah, he has.
And all of them have been all right without great. And I think the 2,000 is going to suit him, and he can run a race.
Okay, so 14, 10 and 6 there. Maduri Giant, Craig Williams taking the ride there for Mark Newnham. We better get to a break. On the other side, our star power guest is a superstar of the sport. Ryan Moore up next.
Chemical Charge running a big race from Max Dynamite. Talismanic gets on terms with Highland Reel. He won't surrender. Toes and Battle's run is coming to an end, but Irish eyes are smiling. Highland Reel, what a fitting finale. Highland Reel takes the bus. Ping High Star racing up to Singapore Sling. They got to the golden age. Ping High Star tearing away with the Derby. John Size produces a masterpiece with Ping High Star.
One of the champion jockeys from all around the world is Ryan Moore. He's our special guest today. Ryan, thanks so much for being part of the show. And have you settled into Hong Kong, got over a bit of jet lag and getting ready to enjoy it?
Yeah, no, I'm always delighted to come to Hong Kong and unfortunately coming here for many years, and everyone always looks after me and get good opportunities here. So, yeah, I'm always delighted to get to go to Hong Kong whenever I can.
Yeah, no doubt. And Hong Kong racing loves you. Also, I noted with great interest that you have just announced as an ambassador for the World Pool, which is doing amazing things all around the world. And I know you don't take these ambassadorialships very lightly, so it's obviously something that you're passionate about.
Yeah, well, look, racing, I think, has to speak as one voice around the world, really, and the Whirlpool kind of is a sort of a way, a force to bring all the racing jurisdictions together. And I think if we're all on the same page and working with one another, we'll make the product better and make the sport more competitive, and hopefully we'll generate more revenue for the sport around the world. So I'm delighted. I was delighted to be asked, and his decision to get behind.
Yeah, well, no one rides Ryan in the big races around the world as much as you, so that's a great point and something that we love to see. But I'm going to kick off with a hard-hitting question. We hear often Shane on this show mentioning when he rings and talks to you. I want to know what your tactics are to get a word in.
I don't really like to talk too much anyway, so it suits me. Suits me to listen.
It's a marriage made in heaven, the two of them.
Shane, it's the perfect marriage, you two.
I'll tell you what, it's a first. Look at him, he looks very tired. I bet you he's never got out of bed to do an interview before. This is a first.
Do you know what? That's true. I didn't have to get out of bed.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Hey, Ryan, it was a great way to kick off through the week, though. You managed to boot home a couple of winners there at the Valley, and, one of them ended up winning the Happy Valley Million Challenge, the Manulife Challenge as well. So this is Soleil Fighter. Started very short, but it was a nice barrier and probably an easy ride to many extent. Your box seating was just too good.
Look, obviously it's very straightforward, and a low stall around there on Wednesday night was a big help in all the races. And I actually know the horse from the UK. Richard Hughes trained him, and he booked me to ride him first time out at Ascot, which is an unusual thing. And to be fair to Hughes, he always said he was a good horse. And so I think he had a few issues, but hopefully he's getting going now.
And moments in time, you had a win as well. But an interesting topic that Hutch just touched on is this relationship with you and a man I call the Golden Boy. Shane, can you tell us, how did you and Ryan become friends and how acquaintances over the years?
Well, I first met Ryan one night at Happy Valley when I was riding in the International Series, and he was only a kid. He would have been early 20s and he'd come. And I watched him ride that night and I thought, this bloke's a superstar. And I don't say that very often. He just had it, what I thought what superstars have. And then I think I was back filming with you, Richo, racing.com.
Yeah.
Years ago, and we had lunch one day just talking and we just hit it off. Ryan loves racing, and you can sit there for an hour and talk about racing, and he's the most knowledgeable jockey I've ever known in life about racing. And you know what I'm like with racing, it's my passion, so we can talk for a long time and we both love the same thing.
Ryan, this sort of campaign, you've booked in for 3 days with Hong Kong Jockey Club. Obviously there's riders away and the derby's at the end of the month. Is it sort of hit and run missions for you, or is there a possibility or a chance that you may hang around a little bit longer?
Look, my job's in Ireland, and I love my job, and I'd like to keep doing that as long as I can. But the plan was to come for the Derby trial and the Derby, and obviously with the incident there last month, that I was just asked if I could do what I could, and so I was able to get fit in a couple of midweek meetings as well. We start getting busy the middle of March in Ireland, so I have to be back for that. But if I had the opportunity to do a couple of extra days, and I was delighted to fill in.
We'll enjoy you while we've got you at the moment. The fact that you're riding Mickley on Sunday, is that with an eye towards the Derby? And no doubt you've spoken to Shane about the merits of Mickley. Take us through race 7, number 7.
Yeah, obviously he's a horse that I knew from the UK. I never rode him, but he won the Britannia, and I think this year the Derby field, it's very even. It doesn't seem to be a standout at the moment. I think the race on Sunday, you could make a case for nearly everything in the race. He ran well in the Classic Mile. I suppose his last run was a little bit disappointing, but he was drawn 14 and got back. He still finished off okay. So hopefully, John knows what he needs to, what you need for these type of races, and he says he's in good shape again. I think he was happy with him when he galloped this week. So looking forward to riding him.
Yeah, well, he does like to give you the call when he's got a chance in the race as well, Ryan. So that association doesn't go unnoticed. Now you've been there through the week. A couple of horses that I thought had very good chances. I'm not sure if you've been on their back or not, but Laser Blanca and Sight Dreamer. Those two for John, actually, they look like they've got good chances. You've got a number of nice rides on the day, but those two in particular. Is there anything that you have ridden work?
No, Clint, there's nothing there that I've sat on before, I don't think. So I'll just be looking at them and looking at the races. And I saw those two in particular. They've only had the one start each. Laser Blanca, I think he made the running and just got caught late on the last day, and the other horse stepping up to 1400 looks like it should suit him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that drew wide there, Shane, with Laser Blanca. So it was probably a better run than it looks at first glance.
Yeah, it ran well. It was a good run. He will improve. All of John's always improve first to second run. It doesn't look much of a race. Master Phoenix is the horse to beat. It looks a two-horse race. The one I'm interested in there is probably the worst out of the whole lot, and people wouldn't pick it, but it's, what race are we in? Race 6, is it? What is
Escape Route?
Escape Route. Now, he's on a great rating, Ryan, and his last run was all right. It was his first run on the dirt, I think, and he got back and ran on. He gets his chance here. He really does. At his rating, he can run well. And there's a lot of pace in this race. There's 3 or 4 leaders. They're going to go fast. He gets his chance. I know he's dropped a lot in ratings, but he wouldn't be surprised if he won.
Okay.
Yeah, there we have. Hey, Ryan, just quickly while we've got you as well, and we won't keep you for too much of your time, but that fantastic race, and Saudi's really sort of come to the fore in recent years. We saw Romantic Warrior and that epic battle. What'd you make of the race and the whole day?
Yeah, obviously it's a massive day's racing, great prize money. I thought this year's card was probably a bit down on quality than what it has been. The big race obviously had those two champions go at each other, and they put on a great spectacle, and they were a long way clear. That race this year lacked the depth that it sometimes has, but take nothing away from the winner and Romantic Warrior. They're two champions, and that's what world horse racing is about. Horses coming from Japan and Hong Kong and meeting on the dirt in the Middle East is it's a hard thing to have too many times. They were just a bit light on Americans in the dirt race this year, but good day's racing, and hopefully it'll continue to improve.
Yeah, so much prize.
Ryan, the one thing I've always wanted to ask you is, you had a big year because the main race for you every year is probably the English Derby, and you won it last year with City of Troy. What an amazing feat that was, because first up he started favourite in a mile, he nearly ran last, and yet he come out the next month, 2,400 first time, he wins the Derby. He must be a superstar trainer, just unbelievable, Aidan O'Brien. What did he do, or what did the horse do to turn that round to win?
We, as Aidan said at the time, we possibly made a few errors in preparing him for the Guineas. But Aidan goes back over everything, and he got the horse's mind in a really good place. And Aidan's trained 10 Derby winners. He knows exactly what you need. And City of Troy, he was, when he won the Jubilant this year, I think it's probably the best individual performance on a horse that I've been a part of, and he was a really good horse. And I was they have to go to stud, but I think that day when he won at York, we just had him. We nearly saw the very best of him. I felt there was a bit more to come. We were just beginning to see what he could do. We finished off the year on the dirt in America, but like a 10 furlong race at Del Mar on a very short straight, and they go ridiculous speeds. You need a 6 furlong horse to sort of sit in the front rank, and the kickback on a Del Mar surface is ferocious, and he just didn't know what hit him, so we didn't get to see him. To be fair to him, he was brave that day, but Forever Young was third in that race. It was deep field, and they went an unbelievable pace. And when they haven't been prepared and they haven't experienced that before, it's a very hard thing to ask. But he was a superstar horse. He really was.
But what you said about him going to stud too soon, you've always told me Maurice was one of the best horses you ever rode and was a superstar. But if he had continued racing and hadn't gone to stud, you've got no idea. I remember you saying he could have won anything, that horse.
Yeah, he was. He won 4 in Hong Kong, didn't he? Yeah, he was. He turned 6 when he went to stud. When he won his last start at a mile and a quarter in the Hong Kong Cup. He felt like I'd rode him his last 2 starts at a mile and a quarter, and I was thinking I'd like to ride him at a mile and a half, but we didn't get to see that. So he was an exceptional horse. At 2 and 3 he wasn't so good, but he really blossomed as a 4 and 5-year-old.
Some of the great horses we've ever seen in racing. We could sit and chat to you for hours, Ryan, but we've got to let you get back to work. Thank you so much for taking our call, and also we wish you all the very best in Hong Kong.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Richo. Thanks, Clint. Thanks, Shane.
What a star he is.
Thank you.
Absolute beauty. He is the one and only Ryan Moore. Hey, good news. Future winners coming up with Hutch. HUTCHI'S form files, and let's start with your top-rated performance. We haven't had a chance to reflect on an unbelievable Sunday, but I'm sure the Group 1s are right at the top for you.
Oh, they are, absolutely. And what a couple of wins that we did see as well. The top-rated performance was actually Voyage Bubble. It's good viewing this. It was some sort of a performance, Shane. Probably late in the race was the key because he drew barrier 1. It really helps in going into that turn when you draw where he does, because J-Mac could have just plopped him in behind the speed here. Galaxy Patch was a bit closer than many would have thought. I thought he travelled okay in the run. We'll get to Shane's thoughts in a moment. He may feel he was a bit close, but they were side by side down the back. And I just the trouble, Shane, that Voyage Bubble encountered from probably, about the 700 metre mark where he clipped heels. He nearly came down. He got sort of dragged back to second last, and he comes out and wins by 2 or 3 lengths. I mean, this is a serious racehorse. It's hard to do that in any event.
If you watch Galaxy Patch here, look at his head. He's pulling extra. He had no hope of winning after 100 metres. But he's just pulling hard here, and he never relaxed. He couldn't win. And James couldn't get away. He tried to get away from the fence because he could see that he was getting further back than he wanted to be, but he couldn't do anything about it, Clint. Yeah. He was just stuck there, and he just kept getting pushed further and further back. And then, of course, he clipped this thing's heels there. He loses another 2 lengths, and I'm sure he'd be thinking, not again, what's going on? But he kept his cool, James. He didn't panic. He was on the best horse. And as soon as he got the run in the straight, Clint, he quickened like he can, and he was outstanding. So great win.
3 starts over 2,000 metres. Just bear this in mind. He's won the Derby. He's won this race, and he got beat about a long head by Romantic Warrior. Yeah. He is a serious racehorse. The track this day inside wasn't great. It was a typical A course, so like where Jades came out here in the straight. But to overcome that adversity, and Ricky Hughes said he's going to go for the Triple Crown. The way he relaxes, I don't think they can. I think he's got too much class. He'll just be too good for them, even if he doesn't stay a strong 24. That was an incredible performance.
Well, no one in that field can beat him. So is there any... No. Who else could it be? Could it be a Derby horse?
Maybe something comes out of the Derby, but I highly doubt it. Hong Kong's pretty weak when it gets up to mile and a half. There are only really 2 2,400 metre races through the year, the Queen Mother Memorial and the Champions and Chater. And usually the best ones don't go. But Ricky Yu is going to go, by all accounts, this year. And the way he relaxes, I think he'll be extremely hard to beat.
So that's the top-rated performance. Was Kar Ying close?
Kar Ying only ran, on my figures, a length off what he does over 1,200, which is nothing. Right. Good speed again. I like the ride from Karis here. The interesting part about the race, and I would love to see it because they had to try something like this with Helios Express. And normally he's been at the tail of the field where Mugen is in the green colours. But Huey had him travelling well, and he just had him probably that pair or 2 closer. But Shane, sometimes this is what happens, and we mentioned it with Voyage Bubble and a couple of his rivals early in the season. And sometimes when you have them that little bit closer, they just don't finish off as strong. It's okay to say that he's got the best sectionals in a race, but they don't always produce it when you drag it out of him and have him that bit closer. And you can see him peak on his run, Helios Express, that is, at probably the 100 metres. But, gee, I mean, Ka Ying, he was just fantastic, wasn't he, Shane?
Oh, 100%. He's just outstanding. I used to have a lot of trouble with that in my races because I'd ride horses close and they'd hit the line, Clint, and people would say, I have it close, and I say it won't finish off. Yeah. And that's a classic example there. Yui gave Helios Express a great ride. And here, when they come to him, I thought he was in trouble, Clint.
Right, I knew he was in trouble.
Yeah. Right there, I thought he's in trouble, this horse. And then Paris pulled the stick. And I'll tell you now, if they'd gone another furlong, he would have ended up further in front.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great win. I agree with everything you said there, Shane. And yeah, Voyage Bubble, he's just in career best form, that horse for Ricky Yu. And wonder what, well, we know we're going at the end of the season. Will Ricky try and travel him again? I'm not so sure. But Ka Ying Rising, I suppose they're still planning on coming to Australia. So let's hope they bring him.
Richo, where are the best sprinters in the world from?
Best sprinters in the world are from Australia.
Okay, so what won the sprint in Australia? Who looks a superstar now?
Which sprint in Australia?
The Group 1 last week.
Hang on, are you referring to... Hang on.
Jimmy the Star?
Are you referring to is the fastest horses in the world from New Zealand?
Jimmy the Star?
Jimmy Star.
Where's he from?
Well,
yeah, where's he from?
Yeah, he's from New Zealand.
Oh, okay, so he raced him as from New Zealand. Ka Ying Rising? Where's he from?
He's from Hong Kong.
He's from New Zealand. So Australia's got the best sprinters in the world, but the two best sprinters at present are from New Zealand?
Hang on. Jimmy Starr's not one of our best sprinters. That was a handicap Oakley plate with 53 kilos. That's different gravy to weight for age.
Sorry, I should refrain it. Who won the last Group 1 sprint in Australia?
Disappointed he hasn't turned up in his All Blacks.
What are you going to do? A haka for us in a moment?
I'll be with an All Black today.
I know you have been. Who jumps in?
Oh, there's a few nice runs through the week. Bulb General with a smile, they both rattled home. Good runs. I thought With a Smile could have probably won. Club Ace worked too hard earlier in the week. Well, look, With a Smile here, he was very unlucky on debut. Clearly, I was surprised they were this aggressive early. It was a day where you could be in the running line and be hard to beat. And they've gone to work forward. And then he's ended up being trapped wide. Of course, he was a play for us, but, you know, he gets sort of posted here. So now he's facing the breeze. The eventual winner was on his back. Huey obviously identified Karras as one of the main dangers. And they went back with Bulb General, the other horse, who put in some incredible sectionals. He broke 22 for his last 400. But I thought With a Smile, who was luckless on debut, worked early there, posted. The winner just got off his back at this stage and was too good, and it was a nice effort from him. But I really liked the run from With a Smile and Bulb General for Jamie Richards and of course Brendan Abdullah is one to watch going forward. What did you think, Shane?
Yeah, both of them went really well. The other horse, Bob General, had been trialling really well, so it was no surprise that he popped up like that. And I think what you said about With a Smile's correct. I actually liked him in the race. I had him second out behind the winner, and he should have won first up, like you said, and he'll be winning soon. He just wants a gate where he can just sit in behind, and he's going to be very hard to beat.
It was a tough watch because he was double figures,
I know.
And he shouldn't have been.
Please, let's stop talking about it. It's Shane's time to shine. Idle time. Golden Boy, who gets votes this week for an outstanding ride?
Well, you wouldn't believe it. I've watched one race last week, the first race on the Sunday, and I said, well, there's not going to be a better ride than that. This is from Gate 11, Carry On Smiling, which is Keegan DeMillo. What a ride. Gate 11, he goes back. Now, this horse is 80 to 1, I think, Clint.
Yeah.
But you could find him. He wasn't hard to find. 2 starts ago, he got back, and he ran on really well. Over 1,400, but the previous start, last start before this, he raced over 1,600. They dug him out of the gates, put him there, he stopped. Keegan realised that's not the way to ride him. They switched him back to 1,400. Look at this. He's gone back to last on the fence, and he's just got a beautiful run on the fence without wasting energy. He hasn't got him pulling, and he's just taking his time, and he's creeping, which is the right thing to do. Now, when they turn for home, he just starts to come to the middle of the track, which the track was racing last week, Clint, as you said before, the middle of the track. And he come out, you'll see up here, and he never got him off balance at any stage, and he just eased his way out gently. He hasn't panicked on him. He hasn't gone for him yet. He's just waiting. He's travelling. And now he says to him, we're about, 250 out there, I would say. Yep. He says, go. That is just a perfect ride.
Brilliant.
And brilliant ride. And you're not going to get better than that all week. I don't care what there is. Perfect. This is an 80-1 chance.
Okay, let's have a look at the votes. So Keegan grabs the big 3.
Yes, he does. He rode that just perfectly. Alexi, he rode 3 winners and rode them all. He gambled against Brilliant Express and went to the front and won. Says Super 60 Triumphant, so I gave him 2. I thought Matthew Chadwick rode on Wednesday night, the first race, Sunpack Foo, really well. He made Ryan work the first bend on the favourite, and then he took a sit, and then he only just got there, so he deserved 2. And all the other boys rode well and did something good on their horses, so they all got a point.
And at the moment, in Zach We Trust, says the Idol fans.
Highest honour in racing, and he might go back to back.
I've gone through the history books. No one's ever done that.
No one's ever done that.
That would be remarkable.
Do you know what I'm disappointed with in Zach?
What?
Was because at the start of the season, after a week, I said he would break his record the way he rode from day one, and he hasn't got that chance to. And I honestly believe he would have ridden over 180 wins.
I think you're right, Shane. I reckon he would have too. Yeah, and you know what? He was riding so many horses that were going to, we're seeing them win with other people on now. Like they were going to win multiple races. So,
well, hopefully he's on the mend, and we'll see him back very soon. It's with great trepidation that I announce it's time for Stats Behind the Saddle. Rightio, Hutchbuster.
Have you been studying?
Yes.
Shane, have you been doing your homework?
I'm ready on the buzzer.
No, not at all.
I'll tell you what, I'm worried about you guys because...
I'm on the buzzer.
Listen, it's time to lift. Feel free to join in. So who am I question?
We bring Ryan Moore.
No, incorrect. All right, who am I? We're going to start off with the first question here. My winners this season have come from 10 different stables, and I'm riding to market expectations. So he's ridden winners for 10 different stables.
10 different stables.
The photo generally has been a little bit of a giveaway here.
Yes.
But anyway, so there you go. That might give you a bit of a hint. All right, number 2, we got 29% of favourites he's ridden. He's won on. So this is the jockey. So he's right, like I said, he's right into market expectations. He gets on a favourite. He's delivering about 30% of the time. All right, here we go. It starts to get interesting. Now, this is where you really come into your own.
Oh, yeah, Brown Lamps.
If my horse Brown Lamps, I win 17% of the time with a 64% profit on turnover. So this is a jockey that if he manages to win, he boots them home with a lot of regularity.
I want to say Harry Bentley, but I'm worried that we've had him before as our question. As our answer. So that's why I'm not going to say Harry Bentley.
Number 4, final one. My strike rate is 14%, 6% on a leader or on pace runner.
Alexi Bedell.
Or 2.7% on a back marker. There he is. Andrea at Zenny. So, look, it's interesting. I think, he's going well, Andrea, isn't he? He's really picked up the slack and he's got some nice performances there. Shane, you're very quiet. Were you confused with the photo? The dodgy photo, the first one?
When you said he's on stat, he's actually behind on profit and loss on my book.
Yeah, but
I might be wrong.
Oh, hang on.
What a flat rate.
So if you have $10 on every runner, you're behind.
Yeah, but that wasn't the stats that I gave out, Shane.
Oh, wasn't it? Because I ruled him out. I was trying to get when you said it even or something.
See what he's doing now? He's got the computer up and he's having a look.
I'm with Shane. I think there's questions in regards to your stats.
Thanks to Sahil, those stats are absolutely spot on, and it's regard to the specific rides. So no, he's going well.
Global racing time, and from a Whirlpool point of view, last Saturday into Saturday night Australian time. So from Whirlpool, that's the beauty. It's a global product. absolutely outstanding results. Great racing action. So the Saudi Cup is now the World Pool's 4th highest turnover race on its own of all time, which is unbelievable. And as a combination of Caulfield into the Saudi Cup, that was so across the 12 races. Have a look at that turnover as well.
Yeah, huge numbers we're talking, and it was a great day. Well done to the MRC out at Caulfield. I went there on course. It was a brilliant day. Had some good results there as well throughout the day, and that building into the evening. So 12 races on that day, and some big figures reproduced.
Well, Shane, you rode in an era where the mighty Better Loosen Up was plying his trade. Well, Mr. Brightside on Saturday went past Better Loosen Up with 9 career Group 1s, most successful Lindsay Park Group 1 horse ever. He's a little like Better Loosen Up in that he's not so fashionable, but by gee, he's tough.
He's just so tough, isn't he? He just whacks away and he either just gets there or he just hangs on, and you can't knock him. He just keeps coming back season after season and performing.
Hey, Shane, do you know where he's from?
No, tell me.
He's from New Zealand.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
You know,
wow,
the third
another
horse.
one.
You know the third horse in that race? I wish I win. You know where he's from?
New Zealand.
I wouldn't know. Where's he from?
He's from New Zealand.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm surprised about that.
Mr. Brightside, of course, being a son of bull bars. Well, Devil Knight won the Blue Diamond, start number 2 in his career, found by the Hutchbuster, if you don't mind, across various media outlets. Start number 2, a product of Australia. Salutes.
Yeah, we need one. We needed one. Look, there was a pattern on the day. It was a nice win. Well done to Team Hawks. Settled handy, made his own luck. I couldn't believe the price given that he had form around the favourite, and that was only his first start at the races. I don't know if it's a vintage year of 2-year-olds, but well done to Team Hawks. One thing I will say, his sire, Written Tycoon, is absolutely, elite, isn't he? His stats are incredible. And, well done. I think the third place getter could be one interesting for the slipper. And I know you like that horse. Ran really well against the pattern.
He was huge, Tycoon Star. So Yulong defeats Godolphin, defeats Yulong. And the 3 Hall of Fame families. So the Hawks family defeats the Friedman family ahead of the Hayes family. It was the absolute elite of elite coming out of that race. And then we got to the Oakley Plate. And Shane, you spoke about this Kiwi bred and we all tipped him because of his great acceleration. This was some ride also from Ethan Brown.
It was a very cool ride, but if you go back to a year ago, last time first up, he did this exactly the same.
Correct.
Richo, as we've discussed. And geez, he can quicken. Now, why wouldn't he, if he went into the Everest, because we all know he can run a mile, and the 1200 at Randwick isn't easy. Yeah. It's a little bit further than 1200 with that hill, and especially if they go a bit. Why couldn't he go into an Everest fresh and have a chance?
Oh, yeah. I'd definitely look at giving him a slot, fresh and demand. I'm giving you the slot, but you must run it in fresh.
They'd do that, wouldn't they? He's won 5 out of 6 now and finished second the other time. Now he gets a bit further. I think it's his right trip, the 1200 too, fresh, settle back off a good speed, and yeah, he's electric. So it's an interesting one. The runner-up was good. She's bulletproof. But,
she was fantastic, no doubting that, for Charlotte Littlefield and Craig Williams. Absolutely beautiful. Something that's not 100% sold, but it's getting sold quickly, is the Triple Trio Tour.
Yes, it is.
Back in 2025, if you don't mind, due to overwhelming success of last year. We had a lot of fun. Strictly limited to 45. We don't want to take any more because we want to be up close and personal. And trust me, Hutchie gets up close and personal.
Oh, yeah.
Scan that QR code, get involved. We bring the golden boy out on a number of occasions. We don't tax him too much.
Keep him fresh.
But when he gets there fresh, he hits there with great momentum. Shane, you're signed
what
up to
last year, Richo? Talk about me coming out. You had Joe Moreira, Huey Bowman, Nicole Purden.
Yeah.
You had them all there, didn't you?
It was
great.
good.
They loved it.
Yeah, it was great fun, mate. And you were a big part of it. And the dinner at the start was awesome as well. So make sure you get involved there. Hey, World Pool next week as well. So this is a little reminder. New Zealand Derby Day.
That is a big day.
I've got a horse who can win, I reckon. A little share in a horse called Willie Do It.
Yeah,
and Mickey D's going to be riding, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Newmarket Handicap Day, Canterbury Stakes at Randwick. So have a look at that. 12 races an absolute beauty. Best bets time. I got my pen, boys. Best bets time. Hutch, you lead us away. Who do you like?
I think there'll be some value on the whole card, as I said, but this also will be short, and I think it's a great chance for Ryan Moore. Laser blank, I think he'll be tough to beat. There are a few Quinellas that I've found in the race. I think take him with all of those runners, 3, 4 and 10. I won't run through exactly what they are right now, but it looks a nice race, and like I said, he'll be pretty short. I'm going to have something on Packing Angel. I think he'll be very backable. Can probably back him each way. And once again, I take him with those runners in the queue. Wouldn't be as big as an investment in that race because, as we've said, it's really open. But I think if you get the right sort of price, you know, somewhere between $6 and $8 about him, and I think you will because it's so open.
Yeah.
I think he's worth something. And the Quinellas, the exotics will pay really well in that race.
Who do you like, Golden?
I think race 9, Midori Giant, will run very well. He's looking for the 2000. Whatever he does, he'll improve.
Yeah.
And I also thought there was a first starter in race 1, Clint, number 9, Justifier flying.
Ooh.
His 2 trials have been very good. He trialled good overseas, and it's not a very strong class 4 up the straight. So he could get his chance to win first up.
We know you've got to get to a wedding, Shane, for the O'Sullivan family, mate, which you're a very, very close member of. Enjoy your day and love to all.
Yep. It's going to be a big one. It goes for 2 days.
All right. Is there any
I've got
truth?
events all night and then again tomorrow.
Is there any truth in the rumour that you're going to interrupt and say, while we're here, gathered amongst our family, I might make it a double wedding? Is that true?
Mate, I've had 2 goes at it. I've failed both times. I don't make the same mistake 3 times. So,
He's 0 and 2. It's not going to be 0 and 3.
Good on you, mate. Great show.
see you, mate. Bye-bye.
Good luck, Hutch.
Yep.
It's going to be an absolute beauty. Thanks for everyone for watching. See you next week.